Hey guys, Schweitz here with schweitzaudio with another plugin demonstration video. Today we're going to look at one of my favorites for driving tone into sounds and really helping different sounds to stand out and be really nice in a mix. I like to mix where I don't necessarily use compressors and EQs to make EQ changes. I'll use effects and other parallel processing things to add in the EQ and the texture that I'm looking for. And this piece right here is one of my mainstays. It's on every mix that I do. I think it sounds fantastic and it's a very versatile piece. It's the Culture Vulture. This is Universal Audio's emulation of it. As many of you know, this is an actual hardware piece, as is most of Universal Audio's stuff. This thing emulates a high gain valve piece of gear. It's made to add in different orders of harmonic distortion. And for your tube heads out there, you'll see the different modes. We have a triode mode, a pentode 1 mode, and a pentode 2 mode that kind of changes the way the distortion behaves. The triode and pentode 1 are kind of typical, what you would expect from those two different types of tubes. And the pentode 2 is kind of like a crazy cousin of both of those, where you can almost get frequency stacking and harmonic changes to the actual tonal structure. And I'll show you that here in the demonstration. Real quick, let's take a listen to what this thing does because it's really amazing. Shout out to my guy Cole Cash Black for letting us use this song. You'll recognize the guitar part, but I feel like it really highlights how cool this box is. Let's take a listen. Now I'm going to mute the return. Put it back in. And as you can hear, as soon as you put this in or take it out, you can just hear the sound kind of sits down. It's not as exciting. It loses a little bit of energy and it loses a little bit of character. And that's what the Culture Vulture brings to you, is character. It's a really fantastic box. It's not very complicated. As you can see, we have a drive knob, which is pretty self-explanatory. We have a bias knob, which changes the amount of milliamps being pushed through the tube structure. And these meters right here represent the milliamps, not the actual level. And these needles will move as the program material moves through it, and the voltages change a little bit with the amount of energy being pushed through them. And then we have the distortion type here, where we can change between the triode, pentode 1, and pentode 2. Down here, your basic output controls. You can link it or not link it. You have a mix knob here, and then you also have these filters at 9K and 6K, which are true 12 dB per octave filters, and they're really nice for tuning in the sound. And then also we have the overdrive button, which I always leave in because of the way that I use it. As you can see, it's a pretty simple box. Look up the manual on this. They go into depth over how this box works. It is really amazing, but I'd rather just show you how it sounds. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave it in pentode 1, which does third harmonic order distortion. Triode does second order. And the 2, to be honest with you, I'm not sure what it does. It's a mix match of what the P1 does, the pentode 1 does, and it's really cool. But we're going to start on pentode 1, and I'm just going to turn up the drive. I'm going to leave the bias here between 3 and 4. That's where I normally like it. This box is a little backwards. The higher you go, the less that's getting pushed through in the circuit, and the lower in number you go, the more it gets pushed through. But anyways, I'm going to play it. I'm just going to push the drive up, and I just want you to hear how nice this is. I'm also going to turn down the return here. I'm using it as an aux here, as you can see. And we're going to overdrive this, so it's going to get pretty loud. So I'm just going to start playing it. I'm going to turn it down, and I'm going to overdrive it. nice that is? It is so warm and inviting, and it is saturated, but it has a bite and a grit to it, not just a smushy saturation that really helps that guitar really stand out. Now I'm gonna take it up to the P2 and overdrive it again, and I want you guys to hear what it does because it's really cool. How cool is that? Like it's hitting the overtone structure of the guitar, and we're hearing those overtones overdrive out of that. How cool is that? I think that's super, super cool. Now we're going to go ahead and overdrive it here in the triode as well so you can hear it. And as you can hear in triode, it's what we would expect. It's a little tamer sounding, a little purer, a little cleaner sounding. That's that second order harmonic distortion. That's what that brings us. I personally use it a lot in P1. I'm a big fan of third order harmonic distortion. Don't know why. I just really like it a lot. But as you can see, this box is super versatile and you can use it on anything. I've used it on vocals, I've used it on bass, I've used it on guitars, keyboards, strings, because you can use it on such a little amount, but it adds such a lot of tone. Typically, I send to it like -19 on a send, and just so that it just adds a little sparkle and a little bite to a sound, because this is only one level of something that I'll add into a sound. But as you can see, this Culture Vulture is an amazing tool to have in your little bag of tricks, and I highly recommend you check it out. Please hit subscribe up above. Leave me some comments. My website is about to launch. It's going to be great when it does. We're just hammering out the final little tweaks. And as always, I appreciate your support. Thanks for tuning in, and happy recording.